Hey, sis. What's your name?
Danielle.
Danielle. Why are we out here? Why do you think we're out here?
To teach.
To teach,
To
to show.
inform.
To what?
To inform.
To inform. Okay. Okay. What do the pastors do?
I can say a lot of things about pastors, but that's their purpose. That's what some of their purpose is.
Okay. Right. Right. So
Yep.
we're out here because it's something that our people don't know.
Right.
It's something that
There's a lot.
There's a lot our people don't know, right? My brother, why do you think we out here?
To teach the truth.
To teach the truth. Okay. Okay. What's the truth?
I don't have a clue.
You don't have a clue.
To educate.
Yeah,
Get John 8:32. Get John 8:32. Get John 8:32. All right. Is this factual things that happen in history?
I mean, from what they taught us.
From what they taught us.
Yeah.
So how do we get on this side of the world? If this is not true, how do we get on this side of the world?
I believe we are fearfully and wonderfully made. It's like, so I believe these things happened.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're not, but it's things that happen throughout history, and
Right.
that's factual things that
That's
happen.
right.
Right? So, read what you got.
The book of John, chapter 8, and verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
So it says, if you know truth, it's going to make you free. Right? The Bible defines itself. We don't have to come up with our own vain thoughts and opinions to figure out things. Get Psalms, read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law,
And the what?
and thy law is the truth.
So it says God's law is going to make you free. Because it says the law is the truth. And it says the truth shall make you free. So God's laws is what's going to make our people free. Right? What happens in our neighborhoods? Killing, stealing, robbing, right?
Yeah.
So if our people apply not killing each other, how would that change society?
We try to be powerful.
We would be powerful, right? The thing is, we don't realize how deep us killing each other goes, right? Think about Planned Parenthood, abortion clinics, right? That's just one form how we kill ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Then you think about what's going on, not just in Chicago, but we do black on black crime at a high rate. We kill off our own race more than any other nation. We might say the cops kill us, yes, that's valid. But we do it to our own people, right?
Yeah.
So I'm showing you it's different things that was said to happen that God said was going to happen to a particular group of people, right? Get Deuteronomy 28. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse Deuteronomy 28. That's 30 something. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. So it's a group of people that God said curses was gonna happen to. In the latter days, you'll be able to identify who they are, right? So, because y'all know about him having a chosen people, right? Who is his chosen people?
You know,
Israelites?
What does society say is God's chosen people?
Oh, they say the Jews. Right?
They say the so-called Jewish man, right? Okay. So he says the Jewish man, I don't want the mic. He said the Jewish man is his chosen people, right?
Right.
So we have to start peeling back layers on because he said, you shall know the truth, and the truth is going to make a people free, right? So if these people are the chosen people, then they're going to fit the curses that God says is going to happen to his chosen people, right? Hold what you got, but give me Deuteronomy 1:1. Y'all familiar when Moses, he went to Pharaoh, he said, let my people go, right?
Yeah.
So it was a group of people, they were doing what in Egypt? What were the Israelites doing in Egypt? They were slaves. They were serving bondage. They built the pyramids, right?
right.
So read Deuteronomy 1:1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Read.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So Moses was speaking to the Israelites. He wasn't speaking to everybody. Read.
On this side Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain, over against the Red Sea.
So he was talking to the children of Israel in the wilderness. This is the audience that's in Deuteronomy. It's not everybody. He's speaking to the Israelites. Jump to go back to 28, verse 15. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
It says something's going to happen in the future. It says something's going to come to pass. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken.
If we don't hearken, the root word of hearken means to hear, to listen. Read.
To the voice of the Lord thy God.
Which is this Bible. Because God is not coming down talking to anybody. He left a book for us to read. That's why they say if you want to hide anything from a nigga, put it in a book. Because we don't read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
So we have to observe and do, which is an action word. Read.
Which I command thee this day.
So he gave us commandments. That's what God gave us. Read.
That all these curses.
What?
Curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So it's going to be curses that Moses was telling the Israelites that was going to befall his people. Right? He says in the latter days, all you got to do is look at these curses and you'll know who is God's chosen people. Right. Read verse 16. Benaiah.
Cursed shall thou be.
Get Lucius. Read.
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
It says, cursed shall the Israelites be in the city. When you go to any ghetto in America, in the world, who are you going to find? You're going to find so-called black people and Hispanic people, because they're also God's chosen people. Read.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
That's the sugarcane field. That's the football field. These guys getting CTE. So it's any field that we're in, we end up being cursed. Read.
Cursed shall be thy basket.
No. Go jump down to verse 30.
Verse 30.
Read.
Thou shalt betroth a wife.
So it says that the Israelites, God's chosen people, the husband is gonna get married, right? Read.
And another man shall lie with her.
And another man shall do what?
Lie with her.
It says you're gonna have a wife and master gonna come lie with her.
That's right.
Who did that happen to? The slaves. But even to this day, you might have your homeboy, right? And then he go and sleep with your wife or sleep with your girlfriend. Our people, adultery runs rampant in our communities. We don't honor marriage anymore. Read.
Thou shalt build a house.
It says you're gonna build master's house, right? Read.
And thou shalt not dwell therein.
But you're not gonna live in that house. You built the big house. We built the White House, but we didn't live in it. Jump to verse 32.
Verse 32.
Right?
Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters.
It says you're gonna have sons and daughters, right? Read.
Shall be given unto another people.
But another people is gonna take your children. That happened in slavery, but it still happens today, and they call it defects or child protection services.
Bring it out.
It's individuals that come and take your children. Jump to verse 36. Verse 37, my fault.
Verse 37.
Read.
And thou shalt become an astonishment.
So it says this people is gonna become an astonishment. That when you look at them, you're gonna see them with their pants hanging off their ass. You're gonna see them wearing skirts and dresses and blonding their hair and painting their fingernails different colors and trying to be like the same people that oppressed them. Said be an astonishment. Read.
A proverb.
A proverb is a wise saying. Right? I already said it. You wanna hide something from a nigga, what? Put it in a book. Black folks like watermelon and chicken. These are proverbs that the other nations say about black people. But Moses was he was trying to put our people up on game. He said, yo, this is gonna happen to God's chosen people. Read.
And a byword.
In a what?
A byword.
A byword is anything outside of what God calls you. God gave you a name. God gave his chosen people a name. But you know what we call ourselves? Black. You know what we call ourselves? African American. We call ourselves colored. All those names have changed throughout history. What our nation has called has constantly changed over time. Every 5 to 10 years, we calling ourselves something different. At one point, it was calling ourselves what? Niggers, then niggas, then blacks, then coloreds, then African American when Jesse Jackson coined it in the 80s, then Afro American. You see what I'm saying? Read.
Among all nations,
So all the nations, read,
whither the Lord shall lead thee.
whether the Lord is going to lead us. It don't matter if we in China, because we have a remnant of us in China. We have a remnant that's scattered across the globe, but what? They have a name for us. That's why even back in the day, they said, Italians used to say, what? Muli. They had a disrespectful name to call the so-called black man, right? Give me verse 48.
Verse 48.
Read.
Therefore,
No, start at verse 47.
verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God
So
with
he says
joyfulness,
these people didn't want to do what? They didn't want to serve the Lord. Read.
and with gladness of heart.
Because we didn't find God's commandments joyful. Or we didn't take gladness in it, right? Read.
For the abundance of all things.
Because God gave this whole green earth for us.
That's right.
He gave us we fighting over blocks, but Most High God says, I gave y'all the whole with me. That's why we have to get up at 6, 7, 8 o'clock and go to work. And work from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 10 to 8. Because you don't want to serve me, I'm gonna have you serve your enemy. Read.
Which the Lord
Because in this, the Lord did this. Read.
shall send against thee in hunger,
So when you hungry, when you want food, you got to go to Wayfield Foods. You got to pay Mr. Wayfield. When you want to go to Walmart, you got to pay the Waltons. You want to go to Kroger, you want to go to Piggly Wiggly, we don't own none of those establishments. We don't own McDonald's. We don't own KFC. You see what I'm saying? Your family member might have a chicken spot that he might sell chicken wings or whatever the
gotta get
case
it
may
from
be.
them.
But you know what? For him to get the pack of chicken, he got to go to Sam's Club.
Right.
He got to go to Costco Business to get that. Right? Read.
and then thirst.
So even when you thirsty, we don't own Dasani, Aquafina, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. We don't own any of those things. If you want to collect, you can't even collect rainwater, right? If you had a house and you're like, I'm gonna just collect rainwater, you can't do that. If the county finds out, they will give you a fine.
That's right.
Right? Read.
And then nakedness.
So your clothing, that G-Star Raw, we don't own the textiles to make that. We don't own the cotton. We don't. Moses was putting a particular group of people on game of who they are. Read.
and then one of all things.
So if you want to get anything in this world, a birth certificate, a death certificate, a driver's license, people say, hey, we from Africa. You can't go to Africa if you don't have a passport. You have to ask your oppressor, can I leave, massa? Can I leave, massa? They say if you don't like it, white folks say, if you don't like it here, go home. You can't go home if you ain't got the funds. You can't. And then just to leave this country, you have to get a visa just to leave America. If you want to go live somewhere. Read.
and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So it says your enemy is going to put yokes of iron upon your neck. Yokes of iron upon your neck. Our people, this is yoke of iron. This is yoke of iron. These is yokes of iron. This happened to who? This happened to black people and Hispanic people. We had yokes of iron on our necks. Read.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Because you know how we destroyed? We still calling ourselves African American.
That's right.
We calling ourselves black. That's how we destroyed. Because we don't know that we the greatest thing that God created on this planet.
What?
He created us, and we don't realize that we royalty. That's how we destroyed as a people.
Bring it up.
Jump to verse 64.
Verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people,
Keep reading.
from the one end of the earth.
So he says you're gonna get scattered. So we was in it. Jerusalem, Israel is where we come from. But we've been scattered. They had the sub-Saharan slave trade. They had the transatlantic slave trade. They had the Silk Road slave trade. That's the Arabs had us in slavery, the Chinese had us in slavery, and the European man has had us in slavery. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The Africans, the Hamitic nations have had us in slavery. Every nation on earth has had the so-called black people in oppression.
That's right.
But that's what they don't teach you. They don't teach that in school. Read.
From the one end of the earth,
So it says from one end of the earth, read.
even unto the
So
other.
the even unto the other, God's chosen people is going to be scattered. Read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
So in these places, we're going to serve other gods. You know where it's in America, you know what we serve? So we're going to serve other gods, right? We're going to see what those other gods are. Read.
Which,
Come on.
which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Hold on,
Even
sis, hold
wood-
on. I want to further prove my point. Before you walk off, read.
Even wood and stone.
So wood and stone. The wood is is Christianity, the cross, and that stone is the cobblestone.
Right.
Islam. Those are the two biggest religions on the planet that our people dabble in.
That's right.
But God says your oppressor would give you those. It was prophetic. Moses told us that our oppressor was going to give us those religions. Jump to verse 68.
Verse 68.
Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So it says we're going to go into Egypt again. His chosen people. What did we say earlier? What was we doing in Egypt?
We were slaves.
We were slaves.
Yeah.
So it says you're going to go into Egypt again. You're going to go into slavery again.
That's
It's synonymous. Egypt is synonymous with slavery. That's why when you look on the back of a dollar bill, what do you see? The pyramid. In the back of a dollar bill, America is Egypt. Read.
Again, which ship?
It says this time you go into slavery, you're going to go by way of ship. How do we get to this side of the world? Y'all said, that's what they tell us. No, that's facts.
Yeah.
We got brought here on slaves, cargo ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
We haven't seen our homeland since we got brought to this side of the world. If I was to take you have a niece and nephew, right? If I was to take your niece and nephew and I kidnap them and I take them to Seattle and I raise them up as my own, they act like everything all good. They haven't seen you since I took them. We the only people think that it's normal that we got brought to this side of the world and we can't go back to our homeland.
Right.
That makes no sense. Because now, like just I gave you that analogy,
Right.
you're able to make that, that don't make no damn sense.
Right.
But we think that's how we still destroyed as a people. Because we've been brought over here and we say, I'm an American. I'm an American. God has been telling us, showing us who we are. We are his chosen people. Read.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
So it says his chosen people are going to be sold to their enemies. Read.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
For slave men and slave women. So I just brought that to show y'all who y'all are according to the Bible. That's only one step, because knowing who you are is half the battle. Now you have to see what's required of you, because our whole lives have been lies. And if you don't, it says to know where you're going, you have to know where you come from.
Right.
And not only where you come from, you have to know what's required of you. Because to get a job, right? Y'all have jobs to move up the chain, right? To move up the ladder. You have to put in a certain amount of work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't just give you a raise if you ain't putting in the work, right? The kingdom of heaven is the greatest place that we can't even imagine. The Bible says we can't even fathom. Our imaginations can't even think how great the kingdom of heaven is, right? So to think that this place that we can't even think in our minds, we don't have to do no work to get it. That makes no sense. No, God is about action. We have to do what he commanded us to do. We have to search this Bible and see our error in our ways. Because if y'all remember, why did we go into slavery? What did I say why did we go into slavery? Because we didn't do what? We didn't hearken. We didn't hearken and do God's commandments, right? So now your question should be, what should I be doing? You should be questioning yourself like, what do I not know that I should be trying to figure out to get right with the Lord? Because we have, y'all heard of grace, right? We are all under grace. Grace is just a period of time before you in that dirt. Grace is a period of time that God says, get right before you don't have no more time. Before your time expires on this earth. So get me Deuteronomy 22:5. So I'm gonna go over something for you, sis. I'm gonna go over something that's a commandment for our sisters that we haven't been applying.
Bring it out.
Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5.
Read.
The woman
This is speaking to a specific gender. Read.
shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
So it says you should not wear what pertains to men. Right? Read.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's
It
garment.
says at the same time a man shouldn't put on women's apparel. What was Young Thug wearing at one point in time? What was Kanye West doing at one point in time? A$AP Rocky. All of them have put on dresses and skirts, right? That's cross-dressing. That's cross-dressing. At the same time, what do women wear that belong to men? Pants.
That's right.
Pants.
Always.
Yeah, because your oppressor has given you pants. Pants come from Amelia Bloomer.
Right.
She's the one that introduced pants in World War II? In World War II, Amelia Bloomer came out with Bloomer pants. Back then, it was pants with a dress on top of it. And as the time went on, her whole MO was she wanted to be equal to the man. That's where you get the women's rights, the women's movement. All that got pushed because she wanted to be equal to the man. Right. And you know who her first what she did first? She made sure she got the black women involved. She said, black women, I need y'all with me. Because at that point, the black women was riding for the black man. That's how they end up starting to separate and getting in the households. So that's one law that our sisters, because what's in the front of pants? A zipper. Women don't have nothing to pull out. Women have nothing to pull out. At the same time, right now you don't have on pants, but you have on leggings.
That's right.
And according to the Bible, leggings will make you it's immodest. Give me 1 Timothy 2:9. It's immodest because what it does, it shows off your curves. That's considered underwear. So the Most High God, that's why you got sisters, they wear them in the gym and all that. It's showing off their figure, and your figure is only for your husband. Your husband is supposed to see all that stuff. But a man out here is not trying to take you upright when he sees you dressed immodestly. He's just trying to get our brothers trying to get in your pants. When you see a sister got on leggings and in the behind looking right, you like, yo, hey ma, what's good? You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to make her your wife. Yeah. You like, I'm trying to make you for tonight. I'm trying to have you tonight. The Most High God is trying to avoid all that. Right. You want a man to come at you for your mind, right, not for your body. Read.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9.
Read.
In like manner also.
Read.
That women adorn themselves.
This is going to the women again. These are simple commandments that our sister can keep. Read.
In modest apparel.
In what?
Modest apparel.
Modest means not attracting sexual lust. Read.
With shamefacedness.
With shamefacedness, that's not all up in men's faces. Read.
And sobriety.
That means she's sober-minded. Read.
Not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array.
So that doesn't mean that you can't have these things, but read.
But which becometh women professing godliness.
So it's all about your inner woman. You have to get yourself right in the inside, because right now our sisters are about social media and how they look on the outside.
Fashion.
Our sisters about how they look on the outside, but then they be hurting on the inside. That's why mental health right now is at an all-time high. I don't know if y'all seen the other day, a brother in Baltimore killed himself. He posted a thread on Instagram, and then he murdered himself. You have a flyer?
I do.
We have a school, we have an address, and we have a school in Riverdale.
Oh, okay.
So we have school on the Sabbath day, which is Saturday, 3 times, at 12, 3, and 6. You have to come and learn who you are, because pastors are not teaching this because they want your money. We don't want your money.
Right.
Churches have been founded by the Council of Churches. By your oppressor, they give them money to set up churches to get our people screwed up. That's why you indoctrinated. That's why Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, all these men are pimps. Right. They pimping Jesus. They just selling you that. They just selling it. Instead of them selling it on the corner, they selling it on the pulpit. Right. We out here, we don't want your money. We want our people to repent before Christ comes back.
Right.
What is the nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And